Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2080. I sound like a little doggy there. 2080.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2080. Happy 4th of July if it's when you're listening to this show. If it's not, then never mind. I don't know where I go from here with my song. It's the podcast that comes to you every day, unless I get interrupted, and then what the heck. I had a Matthews Chino today. I put little chia seeds in it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It creates like a boba thing, little mini bobas, because the chia seeds, they get all
Mike's
full of
Daily
the fluid.
Podcast.
That sounds appealing.
Yeah!
They absorb what the like, for example, I made this Matthews Chino, so it's like a blended coffee, ice, mocha. No, actually I used cacao powder. Cacao? I think it's cacao powder. And because that's what they sell at Costco, and I can't find any cocoa powder. And I mix it all up with a little bit of cinnamon, and I put some banana in it. Yes, that was inspired by It's a Grind. It's a Grind used to have this Funky Monkey blended drink, which they don't have that franchise up here in the Bay Area anymore. So I think it's all down in Southern California or San Diego, that locale. And I throw that in there, and then some chocolate chips because I like Java chip from Starbucks. So yeah, it is a coffee diabetes nightmare. But I make that once in a while on holidays like today to celebrate. I don't know why I'm celebrating though. Guess what happened? Finally happened after 7 months. Guess what happened? Guess. I got pulled over and I got a fix-it ticket because my tags are from 2019. Yes, the tags on my license plate are from 2019, and there's a very good reason for that, which I explained.
And here's today's podcast picture.
To the wonderful Officer Robles, who that's not what the podcast picture is of today, but the wonderful Officer Robles was very kind in that he did not impound my car. I gave him a list of the receipts of all the times I've been to the auto mechanic to try and get the car to pass smog, and every time it doesn't pass smog, and I've gone back over and over and over again, it doesn't pass smog. And I gave up about 7 months ago. I'm like, Basil said, Mike, give up. Walk. Just walk everywhere. Or don't go anywhere. Like I don't go anywhere now. Just hang out. But hang out with me, Mike, is what he says. Hang out with me. Because that's fun. So what happened was I just gave up, and I've let it go for a while, and then the coronavirus kicked in, and I'm like, well, I probably can't see my auto mechanic anyway, but now I gotta, because now I got the fix-it ticket. Now I gotta go do this. And it has to happen on a holiday when everybody's supposed to be all happy and jovial, and the buck moon is tonight. Because of Buckminster Fuller, who came up with the geodesic dome and the running around buck naked in the moonlight on the 4th of July. No, wait, we don't do that. We watch fireworks. No, wait, we don't do that either. Not this year, anyway. We watch them virtually. I don't. You know what? I've seen, actually, if you go to the Bing page, not to give Bing a plug, I'll give them a slug in a moment, but if you go to Bing.com, they give you points if you have an account. And right now they got some cool, they always have a photo at the really nice big screen wide photo. And Bing has this amazing view of watching the fireworks. And there's the Lincoln Memorial. The fireworks are going off. You see the Lincoln Memorial all lit up. You see the Washington Memorial all lit up. And it's in that area. I forget what that water area is. That's on the back side, not on the side, not on the, what do they call it, the reflecting pool, the long water that goes from the Lincoln Memorial to the World War I, or it's the World War II. Is it the World War II or World War I Memorial? Gosh, it's been a long time since I've been to D.C. It's on the opposite side. It's not, I think it's the back side of Lincoln's Memorial. There's a big waterway and a bridge. Is that what they call the Beltway? I don't know. All you people that live in D.C. So yeah, that sucks, getting a ticket today. But Officer Robles was very nice. He goes, I could impound your car. I don't know. Is he being nice to me? Oh, the slug to the Bing is, I don't think they've been honest with some of the points that I've gotten. I mean, I know I had a bunch of points in my account, and suddenly a lot of them are gone. So I don't know. I'm a little suspicious. So that's my slug. But so Officer Robles says, Mike, you need to get your car smogged. Get the tags done. Get that to the DMV, and you'll be all set. And I explained to him the situation. There is too much. Hold on, sorry. I've got this enormous shiny spot on my head. And I think, well, I guess there's no way around it. It's a little less shiny. That the bald head has the shininess, and I was going to put a little bit of this on the YouTube. Oh, and I haven't put the logo yet on the back of this microphone. I'm so unprepared today on today's podcast, Mike's Daily Podcast. Here we go. Okay. But anyway, Cafe Anyway, that's what's going on. So here's the deal, folks. Your car, more than likely, will not pass smog at some point soon. Because we, as a society, are more and more we're getting used cars. And here we go. I'm going to record this part. Used cars is what we are getting as a society. And as such, that means we are probably going to, at some point, fail a smog test. Because the used cars that we go outside Cafe Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley Ton today. The used cars tend to... Oh, I got my Northern Exposure shirt on today. Woo! Ba, 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 ba. That's kind of patriotic, right? Alaska, our big state to the north, the frontier state, isn't it? I think the Sarah Palin state. So what I've learned is, if you don't pass smog, if you keep all the receipts from all the times you went to the mechanic, and you keep the papers that say I failed the smog, and then you keep that piece of paper you got from the registration, the DMV, saying that you did pay for the part you were required to pay for, it just hasn't passed smog. If you keep all of that and give it to the guy that passes, or the woman who passes you over, the police officer, the CHP in this case, they will and then the whole coronavirus thing happening right now, they will take pity. And if you get Officer Robles, who's very nice, they will take pity and they'll just say, hey, here's a fix-it ticket. Get this done as soon as you can. We understand. And yeah, here's the other interesting thing is Officer Robles, when he was checking all of this in his system, he did not see that I paid for the registration, the California DMV registration, which, by the way, if you're not in California, if you do not hail from California, we got some messed up system. We got to pass this smog every 2 years, and it's getting tougher and tougher to pass. It's ridiculous. And I have spoken to mechanics that are constantly working on cars that didn't pass, that keeps them in business, but they're making it more and more difficult. So I'm seeing more and more people. So in my situation, probably a lot of other people had the same situation where you don't pass the smog and you just have to, I guess technically you're not supposed to drive the car, but I got to drive the car. I've got things I got to do, as most Californians do, and then we can't use public transportation as much because they've cut back the BARTs. The BART trains aren't running like they used to. The buses aren't running like they used to. So all in all, Officer Rowe was very nice. He said I could have impounded your car, but I didn't, so just get this done. So that was I was tasked with that today on this 4th of July. Another thing for me to do. Thanks! Yes! That's right. Oh, good. And I got the logo to go up correctly this time. Excellent. Because that was a pain. with the last time I was doing the... Let's see, do they have a filter here that I can use that makes my head less shiny? Because dang, this could blind. I'll put it like 8mm. That looks a little better. Okay. You can see that at MikesDailyPodcast.com and at the YouTube page, which would be youtube.com/MikesDailyPodcast. So that's how long it takes. It's 7 months, and then bam, they catch you. That's how long it takes. Okay. Hey, I was going to tell you about something. Important stuff that I was going to tell you about. Let's see. I spoke with a coworker named Masa. Masa had this hilarious rant about filtered cold brew coffee. He's got this amazing system he found on Amazon. I don't know the brand. I don't know. I'm not going to give anybody a plug, but I guess it's out there, that you basically pour water into this container, and then there's this little metal mesh filter thing, and you put your grounds in there. They tell you how many your grounds to put in, how much to ground, how much to put in there, and then you let it sit overnight for like 24 hours. You can let it sit for overnight or 24 hours. I forget what it is. But then you've got this cold brew coffee. So the beans have never felt hot water. It's only this cold water. So it's always been cold. It hasn't been hot at one point and then cold. I guess it makes it better. But he says it was so strong, so concentrate. He didn't realize he was supposed to cut that concentrated cold brew coffee with something in order not to make it so strong. He said, Mike, I was seeing through walls, and he was doing this. I called it a premonition conversation. When you're talking to someone and you've got so much coffee in your system, maybe even from a Matthews Chino perhaps, that you're just like, I know what you're talking about. Get to the point. It's basically, bottom line me. Tell me what you're trying to say. I guess people listening to this podcast might have that issue. Mike, just say what you're... But he would be talking to his superior or to people at work that would say, Masa, I need you to do... Yeah, I understand. I know what you're saying already before you just said it. Okay, bye. We're done. Word economy. It's like millennials do not like meetings. They do not like business meetings. It's a waste of time. And here we are in our Zoom work from home world where we don't... I mean, we still got to go to these stupid meetings, although they're a lot shorter than with the... I remember we had... Oh, and then so many people have been let go in this world that you don't have those employees, those coworkers at the meetings that go on these weird tangents and tirades, and everybody's sitting there going, "What? Why am I sitting here listening to all of this? This has nothing to do with me. This could be a conversation between you, and go off to the side and talk about it. This doesn't involve the rest of us," as happens a lot in meetings. My point is, as Monster, what's the point? The point is that coffee, it gives you premonition conversation. You know what the conversation's about. You've already seen it. You've already experienced it. You don't have to hear it in real time because that coffee, your brain is moving that fast. I love it. Find it fascinating. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton, the last place on earth. Let's say hi to people. Hi, Mac. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you guys doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
You've been driving around with expired tags for 7 months. That's against the law.
I guess it is. I'm doing the best that I can. That's why I carried all that paperwork to verify. So, there you go. Did you ever watch Northern Exposure?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like Maurice Minifield.
He was the astronaut. He was good. Barry Corbin played him. He's fantastic. That guy's got the most purest Texan voice. I think he's Texas. Although on Northern Exposure, he was from Oklahoma. And they're right next to each other. Oklahoma. Look who else is out here.
Hi, Mikey. It's the Brewmaster. I make the delicious root beer. Have some right now.
Thank you. And happy 4th to all of you.
That's great, Mark. Have a great 4th of July.
Yes, and remember, so I don't know if you have to say it this year, but because there really aren't that many fireworks happening. The illegal ones, yes, those are happening. So in lieu of that, also take care with your animals. I'll be staying at home with Basil the Boxer, making sure that he's being kept company, keeping him calm through all the fireworks tonight. So maybe do the same with your animals, because there's not going to be any like real fireworks happening out there. You can watch them virtually, and it's all cool. I was looking at a lot of pictures a couple years ago, I uploaded every single digital photograph that I had up to Google Photos. And I was going through it today, and it's awesome because, like, wherever you are, like here at Cafe Anyway, outside of Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton, the last place on earth, you could be looking at pictures and go, oh, that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago. In fact, the podcast picture today is from 8 years ago when I was in Santa Cruz with my then wife, and then also I had a cousin visiting from Germany who I'm going to be speaking to on Google Hangouts in a little bit, because I don't believe in Skype and I don't really believe in Zoom. I'm going to do Google Hangouts instead. But so we were there. We ate at a nice seafood restaurant in the marina there in Santa Cruz. And so you can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com of the Santa Cruz marina there. And just looking at all these pictures, and back when Basil could still walk. And gosh, that guy walked a lot. I walked a lot with him, and he really enjoyed walking until he couldn't anymore. And then he just enjoys hanging out with us. And I guess it could get me down. Something like that could get me down. Getting a fix-it ticket could get me down. And if I let it, it will get me down. But I don't have time to be depressed about that. Because in the end, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. But in the end, worse things could happen. My car could have been towed. Basil could be dead. Could have died a while ago. And, I'd be missing him big time right now. Instead, I'm going to see him when I get home. And we're going to have another 4th of July together. Maybe the last 4th of July together, but it'll be fun, and I'm going to enjoy it. Because life gives you those little moments that you can enjoy in between the crappy moments. But don't dwell on the crappy moments, because then you miss the enjoyable moments. That's all I'm saying. Hey, next show, it's going to be the wonderful, and I got to the point, and you should, and to all of you hopped up on caffeine, I'm sorry, hopped up on the cold brew, I'm sorry I didn't get to the point faster. But sometimes it's the journey, my friend. Enjoy the journey. That's why you shouldn't drink that much coffee and have that much cold brew, because you miss the points along the way. The points along the way, you miss the journey. And don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Oh yeah, next show it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Tell me what you think about all of this. You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for quite a while. It's been great. Oh, and what's the deal at Costco? Not to throw a little Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal? Hey, what's the deal? Costco, you don't have to wear a mask anymore, apparently. Yet, and so you're walking around in the store, you can't social distance because people are just, those shopping carts are so huge. You could try to social distance by keeping everyone carts length apart from each other. But as soon as they set up, they don't have the free samples anymore. I guess they feel like, people can social distance in the Costco. But people are all close to each other, and then you get to the checkout line, and they got the things on the floor, the little, what do you call them, chirons, the little marks on the floor to tell you this far apart, this is how far you should be apart. No, it doesn't make sense. So make sense of that. 336MM Daily. And next show, it'll be Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Happy 4th of July. Thanks for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!